So just now do it? That's a funny line. I know what this is. I mean, this is a ridiculous line. Oh, this is a horrible line. Hello, how about that ride in? I guess that's why they call it Sin City. Obviously, that's the Hangover. It's the infamous speech that Allin gives on the roof of the first night of the Hangover.
How about that ride in? I guess that's why they call it Sin City.
What I remember most about that is Zach and I really rewrote it on the roof that night. What we had originally written was a little too short, and we just kind of expanded on it. And of course, Zach puts his own touches on it. Yeah, that really kicked off the hangover that is in the Hangover. What I think about all the comedies in general is like the best feedback you can give a filmmaker or probably the actors in a movie. Sometimes I'll get people to say, you know, I was in the worst mood and got home last night and The Hangover was on HBO and I watched it and I just forgot about everything and I just laughed and it just put me in the best mood. And really, what is the goal of a comedy but that? Ready? I'm sorry we drank your father. Yeah, that's from Due Date, and Robert Downey says that to Zach.
I'm sorry we drank your father.
That movie, more than any of the films I made, felt like we were making it up on the spot. We weren't, of course. We worked hard on a script and a story, but they're both so good at improvisation. Robert is so brilliant and so quick. To me, my memories of this movie are, it was the best time I ever had making a movie in some ways. Oh, I know what this is. I found your 9-iron, bitch. Was that Snoop Dogg said that to Vince Vaughn in Starsky and Hutch?
I found your 9-iron, bitch.
Snoop was amazing to work with, and it was my second time. Snoop did a cameo in Old School, and quite frankly, the way I got Snoop to do the cameo in Old School is because he knew I was also going to do Starsky and Hutch after, and he wanted to play Huggy Bear. He was really difficult to wrangle on Old School. And he explained it to me, because I go, Snoop, you know, like, this is crazy. We're going to do a whole movie together, meaning Starsky and Hutch. I go, it can't be like this. And he goes, no, you got it wrong. He goes, you hired Snoop Dogg to play Snoop Dogg in your movie, and with that, you get all this, because he had a lot of friends there and a lot of hanging out. On Starsky and Hutch, you're hiring me as an actor, and you know, and he was right. He was so he showed up on time every day on Starsky and Hutch, knew exactly what was going on, knew all his lines. He was a dream. I mean, this is a ridiculous line. I wish monkeys could Skype. Maybe one day. That's in Hangover 2, and that's probably one of my top favorite scenes in all three Hangovers.
I wish monkeys could Skype. Maybe one day.
Oh, we were just dying laughing this day, and Zach takes a moment and puts a cigarette in the monkey's mouth because the monkey was clearly an addicted smoker, like 2 packs a day. It was sweet. It's about as sweet as the Hangover can get. It really took off, and it was really a big success, the first Hangover, not just in the States, but internationally. So me and the guys, we really just started talking of, well, you know, what if we did another one, and we could do another. And the truth is, you know, so many people are so dismissive of sequels in general because they think, oh, it's a money grab. What people don't realize about filmmaking is you really become friends and you become a family. And it's like, oh, wait, we get to do this again? We get to hang out again together and just make each other laugh all day? So it's really motivated by that. I mean, I understand maybe the studio, that's what they want from a sequel. And while we want it to be successful, the truth is we just all want to hang out together again. Okay. I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a fucking comedy. Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, he says it to his mother right before he kills her.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a fucking comedy.
Great line to say before you kill somebody, before you smother your mom with a pillow. Scott Silver and I wrote the Joker together, and Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux. And I forget where this line came from, when in the process it came from. Sometimes you just know, oh, that's going to be a seminal line. And that line really jumped out at us. And I remember Joaquin really liking that line too, which means a lot because he never likes anything. Joaquin and I, we had a really special time working on Joker. And we really did not feel like we were done with Arthur. I remember most of the times when you finish a movie, you celebrate the fact that the movie's done. But I remember when we finished the first Joker, there was really a deep sadness with me and Joaquin. We weren't really ready to leave Arthur behind. So a lot of just the idea of trying to do another one was to spend more time with Arthur Fleck. Just like Joaquin was his own take on the Joker character, I think with Gaga and her version of Harley, it's the same thing. We tried to respect the animated series, the comics, the movies, but run it through a really realistic lens like we did with the first film. That's a funny line. There are two types of men in this world, those who run shit like me and those who eat shit like you. And that was said by Billy Bob Thornton in School for Scoundrels.
There are two types of men in this world. Those who run shit like me and those who eat shit like you.
Wow, that's a funny line. That movie was a really difficult situation for me because I wrote that movie with Scott Armstrong, who I had written Old School with and Road Trip and a couple other things. That movie was always meant to be an R-rated film. I swear maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we started shooting that movie, Harvey Weinstein called me and said, no, it's gotta be PG-13. And I had really not a good familiarity in that space with this kind of comedy. And to me, it was always disappointing, that film, because it really took the teeth out of the movie and we found it really difficult under those constraints. Okay, so I'm here for, well, let me look at the camera and say this one. I'm here for the gangbang. This line was from Old School, and this line was said by a terrible actor, me, Todd Phillips.
I'm here for the gangbang?
I still, to this day, have people come up to me and say that line. I was with my mom in a restaurant in New York, and a group of firemen were eating over there. And one of them got up and came over. I'm with my mother and just said it, like rather loudly, and the guys over there all laughing. And I sort of nodded. And my mom's looking at me because I don't know that my mom ever even seen the movie. Basically, the gist of this character was I always play the creepiest guy in the movies. So this guy, we call him Mr. Creepy. He's in A Road Trip. He's in Old School. He's in 2 of the 3 Hangovers. He's in Due Date. I have done an extensive body of work. Only act in Todd Phillips movies, though. Any director comes to me, they ask me, I refuse it. Oh, this is a horrible line. This is, you're already cheating. Anytime you pass up sex, you're cheating on yourself. I imagine that was said in Road Trip by Sean William Scott.
You're already cheating. Anytime you pass up sex, you're cheating on yourself.
This is the thing that people have to understand about comedies in general. Comedies are not meant to be timeless. Comedies are often perishable because they're reflecting or they're commenting on the current times. So you can look at a line from 25 years ago and go, oh, I don't know if that line is, this isn't even the best example, but you know, what is the best? I'm trying to bring danger back into rock and roll, and there are no limits and no laws, and I'll break down every barrier put in front of me till the day I die. That was said by G.G. Allin in my first film. It's a documentary about this punk rock singer, G.G. Allin, called Hated.
I'm trying to bring danger back into rock and roll, and there are no limits and no laws, and I'll break down every barrier put in front of me till the day I die.
He had a very unique perspective on music, but it was really more just his attitude and his what he was putting forward. It just seemed like an amazing documentary subject. They say in documentaries, a documentary is 90% subject matter, and Gigi's a perfect example of that. The movie is very shoddily made. I had no money. I was 20 years old. But because he was such an interesting subject, it sort of carries the film. What is this one? Someone needs to burn this place to the ground. Someone needs to burn this place to the ground. What is that from? I mean, it could be any of my movies in some bizarre way, so it's a tough one. Oh, it's Chow, isn't it? Is it Mr. Chow? It's Allin? Oh, no, I know who it is. I know what this is. It's Ed Helms in The Hangover Part 3.
Someone needs to burn this place to the ground.
I don't know that it would be Hangover 4, but I have such an affinity to every actor I've ever worked with. And those three guys, we really went through it. We traveled the world together, making movies, promoting these movies. So it would be a shame if we didn't just get the band back together to at least work together. I don't know that it's Hangover 4.